Sue Schnitzer, and welcome to Memphis Public Library's Part 2 of Jazz Bar Chords for Ukulele. Our instructor is Lisa Webb, who is joining us from Nashville. Yay! Long distance classes. If you're interested in classes like this, programs, music programs, cultural programs, any kind of programs really, the library probably has them, and if we don't, we'd love to start them. memphislibrary.org is the website. This class is being recorded and we'll have it up on our YouTube channel, we hope in a week or so. And this class is brought to you by our Memphis Library Foundation. Without the foundation, we couldn't do so many of the incredible things we're doing year round and especially this summer. So thanks for tuning in. Lisa, take it away.
All right. And I'd like to add a big thanks to Sue. Sue Schnitzer has been so wonderful putting all this together for the Memphis Library and the Memphis Library Foundation. Just awesome programs. So I'm so happy to be a part of it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start Jazz Bar Chords 2. And I know a number of you were here for the first one, which may or may not have moved a little slow. This one might move a little faster for you. I'm aware that a lot of you guys have played the ukulele for a lot of years, and you're familiar with some of these bar chords. But what I'm trying to do in these workshops is kind of point out how they function and how that, maybe it's a little bit of a journey going from down at the bottom by the nut to up close to the neck. But when you're up in the neck, it's nice to kind of stay there. So you're looking at voice leading and progressions that move nicely and smoothly, almost like you were singing in a choir. If you were singing alto in the choir, for example, you wouldn't want a part that would be like, "He's got the whole world in his hands," right? You'd want nice voice leading. You'd want something, "He's got the whole world in his hands," something that's nice and kind of more stepwise. So when we're looking at some of these chords and how they move, that's what I've been trying to work on with these workshops. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share my first. I have a number of handouts again, surprise, surprise. Just like last time, and I will be happy to make them available to you after the class. Let's see here. I don't think I need that on. Okay, so we should have our first handout, which it looks very suspiciously close to the last session that we had. It's a little bit different, but I want to point out once again that when you have just a plain open string chord, like on the very, very left part of your screen, there are two chord identifications you can use for this. It can be called an A minor 7, or it can be called a C6. And the way that those chords function or behave is a little bit different. So for example, if you were going to say that we're in the key of C, and we play C, and maybe a D minor, and a G7, and then we're back to our C6. The C is the root of our chord. It's also the identifier as our key. We are in the key of C, right? But if we decide that suddenly we're going to call this same open string, all open string, an A minor 7, it's no longer going to be the key identifier. It's going to be the 2 chord in the key of, so you have to count backwards, in the key of G. So that would be 2. Here would be your 5 chord, which would be a D7. And now here's the key that you're in is G. D7, G. So it's very important to realize that. And then if you look down here on letter A, that's all that I've been saying. We've been doing little 2, 5, 1 chord progressions, either with 6 chords or minor chords. And in letter B, the dominant seventh chords, we're going to look at those next. A dominant seventh chord is made up of a major triad. I'm on the key of C now. And then instead of doubling the root, an extra C, you're adding a minor seventh, which is a B flat. Okay? There are two primary dominant seventh chord shapes. One is that very C7 shape. Okay? You can move that up the neck. And the cool thing up on the diagram of the fretboard is those note names are on the bottom. So the C6 becomes C7 on the very first open string, kind of open string, okay? The next one would be like the C sharp 6, you see that there? Well, now it's C sharp 7, D7, D sharp or E flat 7. Okay, so for the C7 chord shape, you identify those note names with the bottom row of the fretboard. Okay, and then the other dominant seventh chord shape, which we use all the time, which everybody knows, is A7. Okay, that's that open, one, open, open. And you get to move that up and down the neck. So that's a lot of fun. And so to identify that, you would read the top level. This top here of, like it says A minor 7, well, guess what? It's A7. And then it's B flat 7, B7, C7, on up. So it's kind of cool the way that's all built. One identifies with the C string and one identifies with the A string. Don't know how that is. It's just the instrument's just built in intervals that reflect that. So let's do a couple things here. Let's do the Glory of Love now at the bottom. We're going to use chords that are going to be in the C7 shape. It's just a little excerpt here. We're going to start pretty much our regular chords. We've got to win a little, lose a little, and always get. Now here's our F6 chord. Remember that from last time? 5th fret. Lose a little. Back to C. That's the glory of. That's the glory of. And I'm at the end of the song now, and I'm going to do a little turnaround. I'm going to bar the 4th fret and tuck my 4th finger underneath there for an E7. Love, and just slide right down the neck. Love. So the 7th chord's, you know, kind of like a ha ha ha, are really good for some of these progressions. So those were all the C7 shape. Okay, and then the Rock Me Baby up here to the side. It's just a little bit to the right-hand side of the page. We're going to use the A7 dominant 7th shape, but we're going to put it on the 3rd fret. So we've got, I've got a little fingering indicator under there. So we've got barring the 3rd fret, and we're going to tuck our 4th finger on the C string. That's our C7. As you can see up there on the fretboard, where C minor 7 was, it's actually now C7. Rock me, baby. But we're going to mix it up. We're going to play F7 up here on the 5th fret, and we're going to tuck our 4th finger behind there for the C7 dominant 7th shape. Rock me all night long. So we can do that again. So 3rd fret, Rock Me Baby on the C7. Rock me, baby. Rock me all night long. So with a little practice, you can switch between these dominant 7th shapes, and you won't even think about it. And some of them will be closer to where you are on your fretboard than say another one. And so more than likely that's the one that your brain is going to be thinking, oh, I can grab that one right here, once you get used to them and you have them all in your bag of tricks. Okay, so that's that page. If you, and you guys, I welcome you. If you have any questions at all, just unmute and ask. I think it's just going to be easier than me trying to read a chat and figure out what it is that everybody's asking. So just unmute yourself and ask away. Okay, so
Lisa, can you show us those last two chord shapes one more time
I
on your
can.
fretboard right there?
Yes. So one is built from the C7, and it moves. If you bar, if your finger becomes the nut, you know, because we're going to be moving, your finger becomes the nut, your pointer finger, you tuck in your fourth finger behind it, just like it was the C7, and then you're going to move that up and down. That's one of the dominant sevenths. The other one is based out of the A7, which is the open one, open, open. Good old A7 like we play a lot, right? Then once again, your finger is going to become the bar, and your fourth finger is pretty handy. It's going to be getting a workout. It's going to be the A7 shape as you move up and down. Okay? Hopefully that helps. We'll be playing a few more of these here. Let me see if I can share this one, because we've got more of these in this other handout here. And then we're going to be getting to some songs a little faster this time. So for those of you that read music, and even those that don't, remember how we talked about chords are built in thirds. So here's an example of a D7, a chord built in thirds, D, F, in this case F sharp, A, and you've stacked another third on the top, which is the C. I've got a low G, so the A would be, and there's your seventh. Okay, so that's the C7 shape, up a couple frets for the D7. Another thing is down at the bottom right of your screen where it says slide, the D7 and D flat 7 shape. When we do this next song, Walking After Midnight, I'll probably most likely be sliding. Just for a little jazzy emphasis. So that's why I put the D flat 7 to remind you it's just a half step away. Okay? And then fairly quickly we're going to go to the next chord type. So once again, chords are built in thirds. You've got root, third, fifth, like this. You can almost hear it better, I think, on the keyboard. If I was going to play this D7, root, third, fifth, seventh. Okay? If I added another third on the top, then I've got a ninth. All thirds being stacked up. So on the ukulele, the way we finger a lot of ninth chords, not all of them, but a lot of them, is you can bar, for example, your first fret and then the next three notes, like on that E9 down there. Now the curious thing is I've identified your notes that you're actually playing. You're playing a G sharp, D, F sharp, and B. But we're calling this an E9. So what's up with that? There's no E in the chord, right? It's just disappeared. It flew the coop. We only have 4 strings, so we have to remember that the way that our ear is going to hear this chord, all these ninth chords in a progression, our ear is kind of going to understand that there is a root there of the E. That's actually the root. Okay, so say we were in the key of A. And here I'm playing a D7, back to A7. Now I'm going to play the E9. It sounds almost like the E7 that we're used to. It's just got that F sharp, which is an added 9. But your ear hears the E even though it's not there. So that's what's pretty cool about how these chords function. So the next song that we're going to be doing is going to have that D7 to D flat 7 slide. And it's also going to have 2 ninth chords. One is built on the second and third frets. So you're going to put your pointer finger on second fret 2. I don't know if you can see that there. And then your fourth finger is going to be on the third fret. So it's 2, 3, 3, 3. That's the F9. And then down a fret is the E9. And you can move this chord all around too, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I wanted to get to some songs a little faster. I felt like I talked a lot last time, and we played less. So we're going to try to play more.
Can you just show us those last 2 shapes really quickly up close? Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so so once again, this was the same dominant 7th, which is your I'm doing a D7 in this case. I'm going to play 2, 2, 2, 3. I'm going to lay my pointer finger there and tuck my fourth finger behind it. So that's one of the dominant 7th shapes. Okay, and then the 9th chord, I'm going to, for the E9, I'm going to bar the first fret with my pointer finger and then come in behind with my fourth finger and bar the bottom 3 notes. And if your pointer finger gets tired, just clamp that third finger on top of it. It'll help a little bit. So this is the F9 up a fret and the E9 is down a fret. Okay, so hopefully that will help. And let me open this song. Oh no, not you. You go away. Okay. Here we go. A couple of you guys might have seen this before. I've used this song for a Gaithersburg workshop, and I've also sung it a lot. I think it's a really cool song, even though it's kind of a country song. It's kind of a jazzy bluesy song too, and I like using these kind of chords with this song. It works really well with it. So if you can see down on the bottom where I've got the chord diagrams, guess what? There's our D7 that we talked about. All right, and then we've got our E9 and our F9. Those are all in here. And the other cool thing about this is it's a swing song. So in order to establish that swing groove, we can go back and forth between our A and then tuck our fourth finger on our E string to make an A6. To kind of help us with that swing groove. Okay? So let's look at the first verse before we play this whole thing. We'll be going along on verse 1 with the A. We're doing that. After midnight, here comes our D7. That's going to be happening right there, just like we used to back to the A. Ba-ba. Here comes our first 9th chord, the F9. Okay, so that is going to be on frets 2, 3, 3, 3. And then it resolves on the next line to the E9. Searching for you. Then we got to get ready for our D7 and A, and then yet another E9. I stuck that in there just because, you know, we have to. All right, so mainly we're concentrating on the C7 dominant 7th shapes because there's a D7 in there, and the 9th chord shapes in this song. Okay, and then one other thing down there in the bridge is where we're going to get to use our little D7 to D flat 7 slide. I stopped to see a weeping willow. I'm just going to reach down a fret and slide. See a weeping willow crying on his pillow. And now usually the slides are going to be on the upbeat. See a weeping willow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. It's going to be on the upbeat. See a weeping willow. So it's not on a strong beat, those little slides. They're just kind of you know, just like little fun groove flourish things, to borrow a calligraphy term. Just a little embellishment. Okay, so let's go on this song real slow. Okay, any questions before we start? Nope. All right, we're gonna bravely sally forth. All right, a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, intro. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I walk for miles out on the highway. Well, that's just my way of saying I love you. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the A walk up. Ah! So this is just, you're just gonna take your A shape. It's just a walk up like a bass player would do. Okay, let's do the verse 2 and we'll keep going. I walk for miles out on the highway. Well, that's just my way of saying I love you. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I stopped to see a weeping willow crying in his pillow. Maybe he's crying for me. And as the skies turn gloomy, night winds whisper to me, I'm lonesome as I can be. I go out walking after midnight, out in the starlight, just hoping you may be somewhere out walking after midnight, searching for me. We'll stop right there. How did everybody do? Anybody? Pretty clear?
That was so much fun.
Okay, good, good. That's a really cool cool little tune.
Yeah.
Mighty fine.
All right, good. So we're gonna move on, and I've got right in a row, 2 songs right in a row. Oh my God, Lisa, with your stupid handouts. Let's play some songs. All right, so this one is a song I hinted at last week, and so Sue, you're really getting close to leaving, so I decided to make this one a little teachable moment. So this is dedicated to Sue in her journey out to Kingman, and this is going to use a different chord shape for the dominant 7th. Instead of using the C7 like we normally use it up here, we're going to use a 3rd fret C7, 3rd fret with our bar chord, and we're going to tuck our 4th finger on the C string. That's how we're going to play our C7 in this song. And the cool thing about the dominant 7ths and the 9th chords is because our strings are built in 4ths and 5ths. When you're playing 4ths and 5ths in a chord progression, you almost 9 times out of 10 can vary your chord shapes within a fret. Okay, so that might sound really confusing, but you're going to see that really fast. All right, so we're on our 3rd fret C7, right? To play our F chord is going to be right next door down a fret with the other shape, the 9th chord shape. It's just right next door. And then we go back to our C7. Well, say we want to go to our G. Instead of going down a fret, we're going to go up a fret with the 9th chord shape and go back to our C7. So when I found that out about the ukulele, I was like, now this is too cool. I can just do all this like within a fret or two. So once again, this is our C7 shape, F9, C7. Here comes our G9. If you want to go 2 down, you can get back to the F, and then back to our C7, which is based on our A7 shape. Okay, how does that feel to everybody? Have you guys done that before? Alternating back and forth? That's what I find really, really cool about this stuff, because it's when you're moving up and down the neck, I think it's closer than if you were going to be playing C and you got to reach all the way over and play an F7, and then back to C7. Your hands moving all the way around. But when you're on these bar chords, it's just a little flick of the wrist, and you're right there. So that's what was a cool discovery for me on this instrument. So let's look at these chords on the bottom. We've got our C7, we've got our F9, G9, we've got just a plain old A7 down there, and a D minor, which everybody knows, and a G7. So you're gonna know a lot of these other chords. Let's see, there was something else I wanted to point out. Oh, so if you can look down on the first column down there at the bottom where it says Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, right before Sue gets to Kingman, we're going to walk down on our G7 shape just for fun. I like to throw in some fun things. So our G7 shape, we're going to actually play that on our 4th fret and walk down. So I've got a low G, and my G is actually becoming what we call a pedal. It's just like a kind of like an obnoxious note that doesn't go away. That's what a pedal is. Okay, so but it doesn't matter if I play that. I can play all 4 strings because we're actually playing the 5 chord. The 5 chord lends itself to pedals a lot. Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino, won't you? And it all sounds fine. So that's what we'll do. We're going to walk down for Kingman, Barstow, San Bernardino.
Lisa,
Yes.
can you show us the G7, like a close-up of the G7 chord on your uke?
Yes. Okay. So the G7 is just our plain old G7 that is open.
Yes.
To can you see my hand?
But
1, and then yes. So I'm going to start it on that little walk down. It's kind of like I call it a walk down, but it's really a turnaround. It's to get us from one phrase out of the bridge into the next verse. So it's just a little filigree once again. So I'm going to take that same G7 shape, right, that I had up here on G7,
yeah.
but I'm gonna come up 1, 2, 3, so that I'm on the actual 4th fret with my pointer finger. Doesn't sound like much of a chord just by itself. And then I'm going to walk down. Yeah, whoever's doing that, that's good. That's it. Was that you, Valerie?
Yes, thanks.
Okay, sure, yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just a little turnaround to get us out of that bridge back into our verse. And it's just kind of a fun thing to do. A lot of times when I have in a song, I've got a chord that goes on for a while and creates sort of like a stagnant, slow harmonic rhythm, like the chord's not changing. I find something to do with it that's fun, because to me that's what makes songs fun, you know, if you can do something. All right, so let's do this real slow. We're going to start on our C7, which is down there on the diagram. We're barring all the way across the 3rd fret, and we're tucking in our 4th finger on the C string. All right, and let's go real slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. How'd you do so far? Everybody grabbing that F9? One other thing I wanted to point out is your hand is kind of at a 90-degree angle to your fretboard when you're playing the C7 shape. But when you're playing the ninth chord, you may have to just twist your arm just around a little bit, kind of use your thumb as a little fulcrum to get around to that ninth chord. Your thumb should always be on the neck, just kind of loosey-goosey, able to be a pivot for you. So you got your C7. You might have to kind of raise up your elbow a little bit for those ninth chords, and it's not unusual. So helps you grab it a little bit more firmly. All right, let's try again. 1, 2, 3. If you ever plan to motor west, travel my way, take the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, it winds from Chicago to LA. You can slide there if you want. More than 3,000 miles along the way. Get your kicks on Route 66. You go stop time. Well, you go through St. Louis, Joplin, Missouri, and Oklahoma City is mighty pretty. You'll see Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona. Don't forget Winona, 4th fret all the way up for the same G7 shape. Kingman, Boston, San Bernardino. Won't you get hip to this timely tip? When you take that California trip, get your kicks on Route 66. All right, how'd you do? Are you moving around back and forth between the 7th chord and the 9th?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Lisa, I have another question.
Yes.
So on the C7, for example, no, actually, yes. Well, any of these, right? So if we barred the note, why are we using the 4th finger for and not the index and the one next to it? Why the index and the 4th finger?
You mean for like the C7 shape?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, well, you've got a bar across with
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
Now you don't have to actually bar these chords. You can actually finger them in different ways, but it's tough.
No, so my question though is, so the C7, you've got the bar chord, and then you've got to use another finger for that next note up, right? The whatever.
Or the
Why?
For the 7th?
Well, even for the 9th, why do you, so you've got a bar on the 2nd fret, and then you're holding the next, like 1 fret up, 3 strings down, but which finger are you using? Why is it not?
I'm using the 4th finger for the C7 shape because I like to use my, I really don't know what other finger you could use to bar all the way across the string, but except for your finger number 2, your pointer finger. You could use your 3rd finger, but it's a little, if you start playing these a whole lot, it starts to get really kind of hard on your hand. And I like to reserve my 3rd finger so that I can help my pointer finger press down a little bit more.
Okay.
I keep trying to think of it. I try to explain it like to people, like if you had a backhand in tennis, and your forearm wasn't quite as strong in the backhand as it was for your forehand, and you wanted that two-fisted backhand. You just need a little extra oomph, right? So that's why I use my 4th. And I like to use my fourth in chords that tuck under places. It's a little bit more of an easier shape for me. You may find a different fingering. I'm always telling my piano students, for example, if they find a better fingering for a Bach passage and it's working, by all means use it. I don't think there's anything written in stone.
Okay.
But that's the way I use it. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on Route 66? Good. Okay. All right. So we're going to stop that one. And let's see. I've got one more dreaded handout here for you. Which hopefully will be helpful before we do our last song. And by the way, I'm only scratching the surface on a lot of these jazzy chords. Some of them are barred and some of them are not. There's a ton of jazz chords out there. And I've just tried to present some easy ways to play a few of them. But there are these books out. This one happens to be a baritone. There's these books out that have 1,500 ways to play different chords. And if you really want to pursue a lot of jazz voicings that move up and down the neck, some of these books are really, really great for showing you a lot of different alternatives. But I'm just trying to hit some of these major ones that a lot of songs use. So with that, we've done our dominant sevenths, we've done our ninths, and I just wanted to point out the major seventh chords because there's a couple ways to finger major seventh chords that we move up and down the neck. One of them we know with our song Something, with George Harrison's song, Something in the Way She Moves. There's our C major 7 on fret number 2, right? So just like the C7 shape was a movable shape, so is this one. It's just a little bit more cumbersome because instead of tucking your fourth finger around there, you might have to use another finger. You might have to use your pinky finger on this one to do 2 frets away from your bar. But it is movable, okay? So we've got the song, You're Just Too Good to Be True. You're just too good to be true, little low. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. Okay, so what if I decide that is too low for my voice? I just can't sing it there. I'm going to try it in D. I'm going to put my bar on D with my pointer finger. And I'm going to play a root position D with my pinky 3 frets away. So I've got 2, 2, 2, 5. And I'm going to move up and down to make that same shape for the Four Seasons song. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. So that's a little bit closer for my voice to be able to sing that. It's almost like you're using a finger as a capo. If it's still too low, let's go up another one. Here's E on the 4th fret. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. Okay, so that really works well with that shape, with the C major 7 shape. And I didn't really talk about what a C major 7th is, but it is a major triad. And instead of putting the dominant 7th, the B flat, you've got a larger 7th from C all the way up to B. I always think of it as the Color My World chord. That's always what the major 7 sounds like to me. Once again, showing my age. So that's one of the major 7th shapes based on the C major 7th. The other one is a little bit harder to handle, but it's a little bit easier to move, I think. It's based on the G major 7th shape, which is basically open 2, 2, 2. So it's a 3-bar chord. Okay? So if you're going to play G, and then G major 7, and then there's G7, that's all based around G. So I've got the little song Secret Love down there with G major 7, and then C6 is once again open. So let's just play a little bit of that. And the D9 on the end, do you remember D9 from last time? It's 5 and 6 and open, open. So that's what we're going to play right now, this G major 7 line. Once I had a secret love that lived within the heart of me. Okay? So once again, it's too low for my voice. So I'm going to go up to B flat, and I'm going to take this G major 7, I'm going to move it up to the 5th fret and bar the 3rd fret. And now I've got a B flat major 7 chord. Once I had a secret love. So you have to kind of splay your fingers out a little bit. It lived within the heart of me. Much better for my voice. A little bit harder to play because you have to get used to taking your barred finger and then moving your other finger 2 frets away. You could try to play it with another finger. Ouch, hurts me. I have to do it with my 4th finger. All right, any questions on those 2 different shapes of the major 7th chord? No questions. Okay. So I have one more song for us, and I've kind of thrown the kitchen sink at us. This song, Satin Doll, Duke Ellington tune, is, wait, it's not shared. Wait, share. Share you. There we go. I love Duke Ellington. To me, he, even though this is Billy's, he wrote this with Billy Strayhorn. I think his chord vocabulary was so cool. His progressions were cool. Love all his music. This one is, as we say in our 2-5-1 progressions, it's a 2-5-1 gold mine. They're all over the place. It's a fun little swing song, but it's harder than it sounds. So I had so many chords in this that I didn't have room to do all the diagrams, so I just did the little chord numbers down here. So very, very quickly, we're going to do our minor 7ths as our totally barred across chords, right? So the D minor 7 is going to be on 5, and then right next to it is our G9, 4, 5, 5. So it's a really quick but close, easy reach. So if you do that with me now, 5, 5, 5, 5, the D minor 7 for cigarette holder. Okay? That's the first line. And then the second line in the music over his shoulder is also down here in the diagram. But instead of 5s, it's all 7s, E minor 7, and then turn your hand for the A9. Okay? So it's the same thing, just up a step, up a couple frets. All right, and then we're going to do our D9 again. 5, 6, 0, 0 for out cattin'. Then we've got right in the middle of that G and A, we've got an A flat 9 with the 5, 6, 6. That's satin doll. And then we go to our C7 shape that we just did in the other songs. Okay, so let's just play, let's look at this first verse because there's a lot going on here. Let's do cigarette, 5555, holder, that's our G9 shape, repeat, which wigs me all the way up to 7th fret, over his shoulder, turn your hand for the 9th, for A9. He digs me, here comes that funny little D9, 5600, out cattin', and then we've got 5th fret for that A flat 9 with 666, 666, sorry, that satin dove. All right, how's everybody so far on that? Okay, and then I've got a funny little turnaround, a funny little Lisa turnaround. Oh, actually, the C major 7, I'm lying. We're not resolving to C7. We're resolving to our C major 7 from last time, which is open, open, 7, 7. So the first verse, cigarette holder, which wigs me over his shoulder. He digs me out cattin', that satin doll, 0077 for our C major 7. Then this will be fun. D minor 7, which is 555. We're gonna slide around, slide up and slide down. See how those half steps are? D, E flat, E, E flat. That's my little turnaround for that. All right. Second verse, same as the first, just like Henry VIII I am. Down at the bottom of the bridge, he's nobody's fool. Oh my goodness, we have some normal chords. We can just play normal chords. Just for a little break, right? I'll give it a whirl, ain't a guy catching me until you get to the G9. And then up 2 frets for A9. All right? So questions about this. Does everybody see the method to my madness? Okay, let's try it real slow. We're going to start on fret number 5 for our D minor 7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Cigarette holder, which wigs me over his shoulder. He digs me out cattin', that satin doll. Baby, shall we go out skipping? Careful, amigo, you're flipping. Speaks Latin, that satin doll. Here we go down the fretboard. He's nobody's fool, so I'm playing it cool as can be. I'll give it a whirl, but I ain't for that guy catching me. Switcheroony telephone numbers. Well, you know I'm doing my rumbas with Uno and that my satin doll. This little tag speaks Latin, that satin doll. One more time. And Latin, that's my satin doll. How'd we do?
Great. Man, this is cool, Lisa.
Is it cool? Ah,
It's
I
cool.
love this stuff. It's just so fun. It's like you're kind of slipping and sliding around, you know, and on things that are like this, you can even slip and slide around more if you want. You could do little passing minor 7th chords like cigarette holder, which wigs me over his shoulder. He digs me. You can kind of do little slippy slidey things, and I think it makes it more jazzy and more fun. Any questions about this? How'd everybody do? Dead silence. Did this make sense? My little turnaround at the end of the first verse. I did the out cattin'. So you have the A flat 9, slide down to G9 to the C major 7, and then we've got an underlined bar, which is split bar twice as fast. So it's just like the boots are made for walking when we're sliding down, right? But you're just sliding a little bit. And then you're right back to D minor, G7, G9. Okay. Did everybody remember your D9s and the C major 7?
You want to show us those again, those last two?
Yeah, the D9 is the 5. Oh, if you can see, it's 5 on your G string, and then it's just that little 2 that you're fingering, and everything else is open. So 5 and 6, open, open. That's a D9 chord. So you might have a question, why are you playing D9 like that instead of like one of these forms? Well, you can play D9 like that, but D9 is like way down here. It's way down here for that fingering, for D9. So that doesn't really make a lot of sense when we're kind of like in the 4 and 5 fret section. So that's what I was trying. I'm always trying to figure out what chords are going to work well for where I am mainly. Start on fret 5s, right? And then the C major 7, the fun little C major 7 is on the 7th fret, just the bottom 2 strings. Open, open, 7, 7. It's a nice little C major 7. Kind of similar to the F major 7 that we already know, the 5, 5, 0, 0, F major 7, but it's on the back half. Okay. Well, that's all I've got, you guys, for our jazz chords 2, jazz bar chords 2. If there's no other questions, we could play Satin Doll one more time if you want, unless they've got other questions.
I like the idea of playing it again if
Okay.
nobody else has a question.
All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For the handouts, should we just go ahead and email you again?
Yes, yes, please do email me. Somebody can put my chat in the...
Or you can go ahead and email me at the library because
Yeah.
I have them as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. Sue will have them. I will send them to Sue, and if you have my email... I can't find the chat. Darn it.
If you email me, I'll put my email in the chat. Then I'll also send you the link for the unedited video in case you want to watch it while it's fresh in your mind.
There you go. I'm sorry, I've lost the chat, and I don't know how to get there. So when you're screen sharing, your chat disappears.
That's okay. This way they can get the unedited video along with it. But
Perfect,
please
perfect.
share the video.
All right, all right. Oh, I see the chat now. Oh, for the love. Okay, just in case, I'll put my email in there just in case you need me, guys. But yes, do email Sue, because if she has that video link, that's going to be great. All right. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. So let's just end with another version of, well, the same version of Satin Doll. We'll just do it one more time. And thank you so much once again, Sue. Thanks for the Memphis Library and the Memphis Library Foundation. Thanks for you all for attending. This has been a blast. All right, so here's our Satin Doll again. Cigarette holder, which wigs me over his shoulder. He digs me out cattin', that satin doll. Oh, sorry, we got the turnaround. Forgot it myself. Baby, shall we go out skipping? Well, careful, amigo. You're flipping, speaks Latin, that satin doll. nobody's fool, so I'm playing it cool as can be. I'll give it a whirl, but I ain't for that guy catching me. Switcheroony telephone numbers. Well, you know I'm doing my rumbas with Uno and Latin, my satin doll. Speaks Latin, that satin doll. And Latin, that's my satin doll. Thanks so much, you guys. Appreciate your company.
Hey, let's everybody unmute. And you can turn on your video if you want. And let's give Lisa a hand. That was
Thanks,
awesome.
Lisa. Thanks, Sue.
Thank you very much.
Love it.
Thanks, you guys.